there we go. I do believe we're live, so I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution. We have interwebs. Huzzah! I am happy, unironically, super grateful. And today's stream topic is inspired in part by this feeling, the looking for things to be grateful for, right? I feel technically we all do. There definitely is this journey in me that's been unfolding of realizing, feeling, realizing, hey Joe, it's nice having you. Realizing that I am very much influenceable by the world. You know, my senses are sharp and they will let me know with absolute certainty and a lot of scrutiny when it is not happy. Hey, I love you peeps, epic lovins. Okay, lurky, turkey, bye. Love you, dear Kristen, holding you here with us, sending you so much love. It really is this experience of finding out I'm being distracted, like talking about the internet. Hey, Hendrik, it's nice having you here, friend. Yo, Shadow, love you so much. Yay. Love is being sent. I haven't read your messages just yet, Hendrik, friend. I will get to them. There is definitely a fractal of gratitude coming with the internet, but I'm like finding myself distracted by noises that are not my own right now. Talking about noisemakers. Look at this. You want to sit on my lap? You want to sit on my lap? Yeah, you can sit on the lap. No? Okay. Yo, folks, Sam's here too. Hey, Sam. It's nice having you. Sending you love-ins and blessings. I appreciate you being here. Eva is taking her spot after all. Back on the information superhighway. Yeah, Mojo. And there definitely is a lot that was suddenly thrusted upon me again, right? As soon as I had access to the internet, didn't take me long to see that there is so much drama happening in the world. Drama to the point of ridiculousness, drama to the point of disbelief. There is gonna be noises out there in the universe. Hey! These freaking dogs are covering my stuff in mud. No! Get off of my body. You just see these mud paws on my yoga mat. And then this cretin dares to try and jump on top of me. On top of my person. It's not Eva. No. Eva's little mittens are clean. Hey, Super Sam. Another Mojo. Joe, it's nice having you say hi. And Mojito. Mojito 3 Junior also in the building. It's nice having all of you friends here. Yeah, it's true. Completely on the informational superhighway. I don't have to worry about it consuming my mobile data anymore. We cut it close. We were this close to not having mobile data left and also not having interwebs. But no. Hi from Australia. Gracie. Hello. Van Zuid-Afrika. Katie. It's nice having you here. Looked like a beautiful day. It's definitely overexposed. But there be mountains. There be sunlight. There be water being put on the grass. Greetings from Botswana. Yeah, you're pretty close to me. I'm in South Africa. Blessings to Botswana too. It's nice having you. Does anybody here know who the F is Crapper Rocks is on the Discord? No. I think it's one of the new friends. Might be Zawad or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, Sam. There reason to be concerned. I'm in Nace. No, in Kazane. It borders Zimbabwe. That's pretty cool. Communicating with our friends here in Africa. No, it's not always easy. I'm happy that we're both on the internet. I identify as a not knowing person. That's wise of you. Very. Is it Tao or is it the Tao way? The way of not knowing. Yes. Not knowing is good. Kiefer, Meltmore brother, I've missed so many streams with you beloved friends. And here you are, not missing this one. It's nice having you here, friend. Thank you for joining us, for finding yourself here today in this present moment alongside us. Here's a little Eva for you too. Those are my Eva keys. I used to watch you on Arpan. I miss that platform. You were from the Arpan days, Katie? Yeah, not many people remember that. That is how we started this whole journey. So much has changed, yet not much has changed. And in so many ways, I'd be very happy about that. And in other ways, I have nothing to complain about. All right. There is always a sense of growth in these journeys. It's so nice to be able to come back into this space with people that have been here before. I identify as Dreamtooth in that matter. And I identify as Hendrik, identifying as Dreamtooth, identifying with that matter of a fact. Yes, it's so nice to be here with you all today. Thank you. And good day to you too. Bless your friend Kiefer, Hoopy, and Haya Katie. Love being sent all which ways. It's nice having you friends here. Yeah, finding things to be grateful for, right? Coming back to that whole perspective that I do believe we as human beings have like a capacity to be grateful most of the time because we literally look for things to be grateful for. We look for entertainment, we look for pleasure, we look for good experience, right? And it's only when those things are void, when those things are like away from our lives completely, do we actually really realize how much we love them, right? And do we get irritated and pissed off for not having them? What in Cthulhu's name is slash was Arpan? There's a whole YouTube video of someone who made a mini documentary about what slash is slash was Arpan. It's a good video. Essentially, it was a live streaming platform that allowed, very much in the same way that we're live streaming right now, people to join and give awards. And it was basically like a kind of roulette where if you got a certain amount of engagement in a certain amount of time, right as it started, you would be propelled to what would be called the front page. And you would literally be on every single person who was on Arpan's computer or who just went onto Arpan, no matter what computer, cell phone or laptop or tablet or you name it. You would be put third on their list, on their feed. And it drove a bunch of eyeballs to your stream real quickly. And that is essentially how this started. Arpan is a thing in the past. It doesn't exist, but it was lovely and genuine. It was true. Yes, don't you want to be more comfortable, huh? Yeah, get some more comfort, why don't you? If I have any for you to take, please do have some. That sounds like an interesting concept. It was beautiful. It was like a little hidden gem on the internet. And it was so good and apparently so expensive that they had to take it away, unfortunately. You know, we mourn the loss of our dear Arpan, but we appreciate all of the friends that it brought into our lives. That is, at the end of the day, the real value that came of it. All of you, Lindy, sending you blessings too. It felt a lot more intimate and connected other platforms like YouTube and TikTok. At that point, it very much was. It felt like you were seeing just another Redditor, right? That's the way that I experienced Arpan, at least. Is that, oh, this is just another person like me. Where TikTok and YouTube have really become like a career kind of thing. So when you see someone on YouTube or TikTok, you assume that they're doing a job, right? I'm doing a job right now, and I might get money from you if I do my job correctly, where that can take a little bit away from the interpersonality of what these platforms can allow. I still believe we're using it for the best that we can, Katie, right? We're trying to make the most of these experiences. It is about how you use it at the end of the day. Yeah, YouTube also felt like that in the beginning. Things always down, go down. Things go always down or too corporate. Yeah, somebody has to pay for things. And that somebody rarely wants to be the consumer, especially when it comes to technology. And as such, it ends up being something that gets neglected if nobody wants to actually set up a proper way to monetize it. And like that's what happened with Arpan. I think Arpan had the potential to be a proper source of income for Reddit. However, they just didn't have the vision or the plan to make it happen. And as a result, that did go away. I think if Arpan continued the way it was up until this day, things would have been very different for this space as well. But uh, I don't think it would have been all good. I think life would have ended up significantly different. And maybe in some ways for the worse. I would not have known at the same time. So who can say? Kiefer, I'm well. I'm working, and getting caught up finally. Yeah, I love hearing that. Getting the sleep I need these days. Recalibrating, it seems. How's you, friend? I'm so happy to hear this. Yao, makes me super happy to know that you're feeling a lot more rested too. Thank you for asking. Do let us know how you are. Right? You can tell us. I am feeling this way, and we'll hear you out. You'll have a space to say what's going on. It's sad, but that's capitalism in a nutshell. Yeah, this capitalisms we're having. It's funny how it's easier for us to imagine the end of the world than it is for us to imagine the end of capitalism. I do believe with the robotics age, we're really coming online. Robotics and AI and gene editing and quantum computing and renewable energies. Right? All of the things that we used to value is going to suddenly become commonplace. Ideally, please, universe, come on, come on, manifest harder, right? And if not, then we need to almost like make it our whole thing, like make it our mission to make sure that it is that way. The best of speech is the speech of Allah, says the Quran. Yeah, but I don't think anybody really wants to be in a state of staying quiet, indefinitely. Testing. Why you keep asking that question for weeks already? I probably need to start reading it. The Quran, that is. You know what? Send me a physical copy. Ideally, translate it to English. Then I'll have even less barrier to entry. That seems fair. You want me to read book? Send me book. I read. I'm so glad to hear that I'm working on my personal rhythms, including sleep. Started embracing a principle of yin and yang, shutting down unessential systems when I go to sleep, even the internet. How about that, Kiefer? Good. The internet for me has been switched off whether I want it or not. Kind of vibes. But at the same time, not having internet has been an interesting adjustment, right? I found myself experiencing life differently. I felt myself feeling significantly less informed, right? Like I was out of the loop with the world. And at the same time, I came back to myself in a way where I was like, I'm fine either way. Ideally, I like being in communion. I fall asleep to Mel's angelic voice, singing our comments every day. I couldn't turn off the internet before going to sleep. Uh, there could be ways, but I feel the love. It really is appreciated. There are apps, yeah, exactly. There are ways you can tell it to like turn off this plug at this time of day or night, and turn it back on again this time of day. There are ways. There are ways. It's gonna be extra hassle though. By the way, I still can't see the VODs before day 211 somehow. I went and checked it out. I didn't seem to have trouble finding it on my actual interface. I think it might be a matter of it is videos. It's actual videos, right? Back in those days, I'm pretty sure, I used to upload them as actual videos. So you'll have to go to my videos and not my live streams. And then there they are. Day 240. Day There's day 210. Ah, I see what you mean. Like okay, wait. The actual, for some reason, the actual VOD 211 seems to be missing for me. Like there's nothing there, which is a big bummer to me. Day of my life, for some reason, ceased to exist. However, the ones below it, I can still see. Right, and if I click on one of these, this is day 199. Let's see if it works. I think that's still bonkers to me. That is some magic. Yeah, so that's day 119. If you search day 144, MeltMore, yeah, you can find day 144. Eva. Yes, yes. Imagine having your own space and stuff. Imagine that. I like that. Such a great imaginations. It's like the best part is like even if she was decided to find her own space, there's another one waiting its turn. It's like, oh wait, when my turn to ride lap. Uh yeah. Ride lap. I checked for you. Check for you. I'm hoping that it does still work. Coming in through the outdoor to say hi and bye. Bless you, dear Nancy. It's nice having you here, even for a moment. I love Eva. Eva does have an energy to her. There's a certain spirit to her beingness. She has a kind of wisdom. The way I see it is that because she's also kind of like a skinned animal like us, she has the same kind of awareness of what it's like to be a skinned animal, not a furred animal, right? She has like a small little bit of fluffies on her head, like a small little fluffies, right? Same, but different. So there is definitely a kind of awareness I feel that she shares with us that these creatures might not. Apparently, they used to put these close to people that were dying as well to warm their aching bones. And then they would like bury them with the dead as well sometimes. You know that, Eva? They used to bury you alive. I don't know if they were burying them alive, but they would bury them because they thought that these dogs would guide them to the afterlife properly. To be an Eva. So blessed. But dogs love. But dog love is just life goals. It's true. They do have a certain way of being, right? So chill. Love that, Kiefer. This is the way. I go to sleep listening to yoga, nidra meditation, and solfeggio tones. It's been helping so much, Lee. Getting those deep sleeps and REMs. I've been getting some REMs as well. So many dreams. Always in kind of absurd circumstances, it seems. Mm, you feel you need to be connected to Allah. The material and mortal world maybe brings short excitement, but it is void. You hear that, Eva? You bring me short excitement, but you're void. Don't listen. Don't listen to them. You're not void, Eva. You're something. You'll always be a little Eva in this moment of our story. I look at you being like a little Eva. Your voice. Your your backdrop today is this transition through the golden hour that has been absolutely beautiful. It is only going to get warmer, right? At some point, there's probably going to be some red light go blasting me from the sidelines. Eva, hey, don't scratch me, you freaking creature. Starts digging in my leg. What do you hope to find? You hope to find more leg suddenly? Just suddenly there's more leg? Crack a monster. And where is Kobe? Because I love him. Kobe is right there, waiting for his turn. Where's my turn on legs? You can't go in there. There's no space for you there. It's like 18 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's definitely not icy cold, but it's also not cooking hot. It's just nice. Kobe is the right from our POV. That is Eva. We love Eva too. She's a queen. Yeah, she does. She does have a queen way about her. Look at this little peasant way. He's like, no, it was my turn. Can I have turn on lap, please? No, there's no place. There's like small corner of leg here, but you're big. Oh, you're not small dogger anymore. And Eva is clearly the number one. She's already been here, already on her spa day, having the time of her life. Can you imagine being this zen? I can't. How do you do it, Eva? Teach me. Teach me how to get as zen as you are. I do wonder what they see with their little eyes. They also like staring out at the horizon. You know, bears will literally go and look at the sunset. They'll find themselves a little place where they have a good view and they'll just sit and watch the sunset. Isn't that interesting? I'm gonna reach forward. It's not very comfortable. By the way, bless again. What's your address? But be safe. Love that, Kiefer. This is the way. I go to sleep listening. I think I've heard that one. You need to be. That's weird. I will. There we go. I'll try with the VPN because I don't like skipping 4 seasons. It's true. They should be there. They should be available. I'm hoping at least. I wonder if it is some sort of weirdness. So much love. It's Eva. Look at her face. Very distinguished. Yeah, I love Eva too. She's cute. Your backdrop today. Bless again. I feel the same way about your voicemail. It does make me happy to hear you friends say this. There was a moment when my dad had COVID and he just wanted me to be speaking. Right, where I was at first trying to make conversation, having a, like asking him questions kind of thing, trying to have discourse. And then I asked him, "Are you gonna say something?" And he goes, "No, you just keep talking." And that did kind of like at that point offend me. I don't know if offend is the right word, but it didn't make me feel very good, right? And at this point, maybe that is also a part of the good that my voice can bring. There are times I miss your streams and I listen to you as I drift onto a nap. So much love. Eva loves that. Please make no mistake, test. We all communicate with Allah as it does with us because it is us and we are it. And there is no separation. That is like the message that I've received recently that is so clear. There is no separation whatsoever. You cannot be disconnected at all, technically. You can be uncomfortable, but you cannot be disconnected completely. She looks truly enlightened, 100%. There are many paths to the divine. One is but another window looking onto the same thing, claiming it as separate. There it is. Yeah, Kiefer, we do. My stone ass had half a stroke in my journey to understand the first message from you, Kiefer, but I managed to fight through and understand it. Yeah. There is much to learn. I wonder the perspective of trees in that way as well. The perspective that they have, the speed at which they experience reality. Like I did a lot of moving in this space, doing things, being different places. And that tree has been in the same spot. And it has probably changed so much more than I can really recall. Because in this moment, all I can see is what's right in front of me. And I wonder if in the same way that I can only experience what I see right in front of me in this moment, it can only see a long exposure movement pattern of mine instead of the me that I am in this moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. We really do live in a cool world. It's funny how much drama we almost create for ourselves. Like it honestly feels, looking at the world as a stage, that everything is happening in the most entertaining possible way. Right? That we could have, asked for nothing more, at least as it relates to how much shock, how much what now? Like you can either keep up with all of the nonsense or you can skip over all of it. And I don't really know which is the better option at this point. I really don't. There is a part of me that uh, went without the constant stimulation that comes with the internet for a while, to the point where I was like, huh, interesting. My time flows differently. And then coming back to it, there's also this realization of the world's a stage, right? And what parts of the show do I find myself most entertained by? And there's so many entertaining parts to this show at this point that it is entertaining being alive. It is entertaining having entertainment. It is entertaining simply being, period, right? You can literally turn the lights off and do stretches, and you'll find yourself experiencing a lot. More than any show could ever hope to tell you. Do you have any academic qualifications? No, I don't have any academic qualifications. I don't know if having having a certificate to be a yoga teacher counts necessarily. Also, don't think all of the certificates I needed to go and teach English doesn't count necessarily either. Yeah, I feel I definitely do find myself learning all the time. I don't think they're gonna ever give me an academic qualification for that, but I'll learn things anyway. All right, I don't need one of them papers that says I can read. Sorry about all of the entertainment. That's what happens when you let the Americans in the room. It might not go well, but it will be exciting. I've literally come to this point of view that we want it that way. I really do believe that we wanted the exciting way. That if everything just worked, everything was just perfect, without any flair, without any, awe factor, we would just like destroy it and start over again. Be like, nah, let's do it this time with spaz, this time with pizzazz, this time with some extra masala. We'll definitely have something to say about it. What kind of first question is that supposed to be? Ever heard of falling with the door in the house? I haven't heard it, but it still feels like a hilarious saying. Helix, Kilrix, what is your goal here? I don't really think there is any depth, but I'm at the same time willing to explore that question nonetheless. Right, see how it makes me feel. Uh, do I want, right? Is one of the questions that I almost have as a follow up for myself. Do I want academic qualifications, right? Because again, the reason that I can ask myself that question is in the alternative where someone asks me such a thing and I can go, oh, yes, I in fact do have academic qualifications. And then I can give a list and be like, look, academically qualified. And then what? And then that person is going to suddenly start clapping their hands. They're suddenly going to just whip out their wallet, and dig for that big wad of cash. Just try and put it inside their cell phone screen, and they realize, oh, that's not how it works. And then they're gonna start swiping their credit card until it starts smoking. No, no, that's not going to happen because that person is not going to care whether I have academic qualifications or not, right? Realistically. So am I gonna bother myself caring in this moment? It's like, depth explored, lessons learned about myself. Falling with the door in the house. Is that some weird German expression? I was thinking the same. Yeah, I hope it would translate better than that. I'm imagining I'm trying to imagine how it's supposed to be interpreted. Falling with the door in the house. Yeah, it's like the way I'm seeing it is like you're coming into the house using the door, but instead of just making your entrance gracefully, you're opening the door and falling into the house, right? Kind of embarrassing yourself. And that question is basically like that as an entrance. That's the way I'm interpreting at least. Meltmore, hey, so what? You owe the Bank of Imagination exactly $0. The Bank of Imagination. If I close my eyes and I open the Bank of Imagination, I see a ship on an ocean. And in these oceans, floating amongst the ship, are big old cubes. And those cubes look slightly icy, but also with a gelatinous sheen on the outside. Yes. And inside said cubes, there are creatures. Yes, they look like small little dinosaurs. The Bank of Imagination is always full of surprises. Met der Turne Huisvallen. Met der Turne Huisvallen is the German one. Did I get it like close to correct? It's Shishi joining us again today. It's nice having you, friend. Sending you blessings. Hendrik, can you enlighten me on the falling of the door in the house in 56 cents? Where is this accent from? I'm from the internet, as we like to say. Maar ek is 'n Afrikaanse seentjie eerste gewees. Voor ek die internet geontdek het, was ek Afrikaans. And now it's like Engels. I don't actually sound like that, but for some reason I must. Melt, when did you go live? 35 minutes ago. Kiefer, hear you say that if someone asks something rudely, directly, or inappropriate stuff way too early in terms of the relationship between one another, metaphorically picturing someone trying to enter your personal space without knocking first. Okay. Okay. So I feel like I had it close to right, but I think your definition is even better. But what does that have to do with doors? I'm confused, man. Like to me, it's like the whole you're falling with the door, right? Like again, the whole fractal of embarrassing yourself. Maybe you're falling to the point where you're busting the door open, right? Like a klutz. You're being inconsiderate. You're being unaware. There's a certain brutishness that is communicated, right? That's maybe the way I see it. Like the ADT security system salespeople or Jehovah's Witness in some religions, MeltMore for visiting the bank and seeing our exquisite stuff. You need to cough up 1 cent. No, I'm gonna I'm gonna draw from the imagination bank some more. I'm seeing alien code floating in multiple layers in red in front of my face. And in the middle of all of this is there what looks like a hologram screen, right? An interesting gold and whitish silver machine that holds two little pegs. And in those pegs are another red interface. Looking on the interface, it says, I can't read that. It says something. Yes. Looking around myself, I don't see much other than more building. Sometimes the imagination bank, just got building somewhere for you. Are you on Wi-Fi? I'm on Wi-Fi right now, Adam. Yeah, because Wi-Fi's. Can I send you an application again? An application? It's a what? Found the culprit. Yeah, I did think it was a what? The Cryptopolis, something like that. Yeah, they were pretty spot on, Melt. So what? I'm a parent. I don't have free time to spend on your ass. That's some real shows. Always, Kiefer. I love my language, and it's an expression, and I feel honored if people ask questions about it. I love learning these things. It makes me happy to see the way. Like Schadenfreude. I don't know if I said that correctly, right? My mom, me and my mom had this conversation together. And then one part of the conversation was about we don't actively want people to not have a good time in life, right? For them to suffer. That's not the kind of people that we are fundamentally as people. And I go, yeah, there's actually a word for that, Schadenfreude. She's like, what? I'm like, Schadenfreude is when you derive pleasure from the suffering of others. And I was like, oh, interesting word to have, right? And in that way, Germans do have such an expressive form of language with different stuff that we don't really in English. But falling in the door works in. I think they make it work in books like that. And I think the person writing has it in their mind that this is going to work, no matter what this is. No matter what. I look forward to find what other wisdoms your language holds. Thank you for sharing. Tactical Spoon. It's nice having you here, friend. Sending you lovins. It's a pleasure having you. Yeah. What a day. So much of the problems we were facing have changed. Still, nothing has really. Meltmore, I derive pleasure by annoying others, just being a nuisance and causing no harm. Yeah. So what? Like, you can't say Sam is mean and then like directly after say I derive pleasure from annoying others, just being a nuisance but causing no harm. Right? The harm you're causing is the time it takes to process all of that. Right? And as Sam said, she ain't got ain't nobody got time for that kind of vibes. Ain't nobody got time for that. And I get that. That makes complete and perfect sense. I enjoy being a little troll. Thanks for making my job easy. Sit down or get spattered. Yeah. Just imagine, right? She like turns a nut somewhere in the internet. And then suddenly your voice doesn't work anymore. Your fingers fall off and atrophy. Shrivel up to small little stumps. I don't know why I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm going there. But that's totally what could happen. Better be careful, Zawad. We don't want that. I don't want that. Won't see me doing anything. Right? I'm not holding any spanners. You don't see me holding any spanners, do you? No. I'm just holding this small little pen looking thing. Yes, look at that. It's like a pen. Totally YouTube's. This is pen. This is not the yellow from the egg. Das ist nicht das gelbe für mich. Das ist nicht das gelbe für mich. You say that when something happened or you see something that was or is not up to par. I mean, right? The fact that that's the quote that you choose to say reaffirms some of the stereotypes that I have in me about the German people, which is that the Germans are very meticulous about the way they do things, right? And the quality of work they expect of themselves. So the fact that you have a quote literally for that is not up to par means that you have some par. There's some sort of par to get up to. Kiefer sounds like a racist apartheid word. Lamau. I mean, sure, apartheid was more like a South Africa thing, and Germany was up to no good a very long time ago. Right, literally like 3 generations ago, pretty much, for Hendrik at this point. It's not complete or whole, Hendrik. There's something. If you need help with, hit me up in the Discord. Oh, whenever you can. But Hendrik, gender is, in my opinion, for a German, like it changes words for French. It's true. That must be an extra layer of difficulty. And yet, that's how they've communicated for a long time, right? Where certain things have feminine denominations. Is that the way you say it? Or describe it? I imagine that Mary Jane, for example, would be talked in a feminine way. It's nice to hear the water falling on the earth. Yeah, we are known for our many articles. What a world we live in, huh? At this point. Nothing is sacred anymore. Everything has become a competition of economics. Everything is measured on how much money is being made. And then at the same time, we're also pegging how much money is being promised. The more money we promise to ourselves, the better we believe things are going. Reminding myself that love is true. I can be and get up and caught in the whole financial fractal as well. Especially these days when there's suddenly things that cost money, right? Like real monies, big lump sums of monies. There's a certain simplicity in getting by as well. The whole living paycheck to paycheck thing, I think, has a certain rhythm to it. It's almost like a game you're playing. Like playing leapfrog. I'm just imagining the whole person or frog you're jumping over is the actual cycle. The reinforcement thereof. Trying to imagine what our future is going to look like. And very much so from this perspective of the future is going to look a bunch of different ways in a bunch of different places, because the pace at which things will become adopted will differ from place to place, and the way it looks because of that will change. The places that the change occurs first. I imagine that Africa stands a really good chance when the technology does mature, right? I don't really think there's going to be a lot of money being spent to develop anything significant in this space anytime soon. So by the time we do reach an abundant state of world and we can actually build things for the sake of building things, not for the sake of the finances that it produce, the technology we have to do so will be on a whole different class. The level of sophistication will ideally be significantly higher. Because yeah, it's pretty rough when there is no consideration being held for this space, you know, by the people that have the most power. Der die das dem den dessen darin and so on. Oh my goodness, I'm getting Duolingo flashbacks. Will it change meaning if I use the wrong gender noun, or will people get what I was gonna say? I think it depends. Some languages, they don't get what you're saying, or it will just sound wrong, right? I feel like it's sounding wrong is like a big thing as well. Like you can speak a language, but if you sound wrong speaking that language, it's still gonna be hard to listen to you. What's up, gang leader? What's going on? Hey, Lucy. It's nice having you here, friend. We got doggos holding space. We got mountains in the background. The sun slowly setting. It's probably gonna hit me with some of this warm light soon. We have so much to be grateful for. We have problems being solved slowly but surely. There is always change happening, and it's nice to be a part of it. How are you doing? How's change treating you? No, it will not change meaning. People will still get what you want to say. I'm sure there are like a few exceptions I can't think of right now, but in most languages, but generally no. Yeah, it's true. Like people will still kind of get, but it will just sound like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm guessing, and that's talking from a place of not being able to gender my language like that. Technically, uh, Brother Bear, love is true, love is true. Yaju, River Coon, it's nice having you. Meltmore, Africa can be crazy rich if they gain control of their gold mines. Not gonna lie. We do still produce a lot of gold, but again, if you look at the world economy right now, uh, it's still like fractions. Still fractions of the total economy is actual gold right now. Like we can do the GPT math. Ask it, what is the total world output of gold right now? What is its current value in the market? How much of that gold is sourced in South Africa and Africa, respectively? And if all of that capital had to be calculated, what is its percentage in comparison to the rest of the global GDP? Yeah, what is your opinion about animal rights? Uh, my opinion about animal rights? Animals should have rights, would be my opinion. Right? The same way we have rights for humans, right? I feel like this little doggo has the right to live a good life as well. I feel like we have to like maybe get human rights a little bit further along first, right? Get it to a point where we have the right of life. If you're born and you're living here, you have the right to live. You have the right to eat food and drink water and have a place to sleep, right? That's kind of the right that we allow these creatures when we adopt them. So we're like, okay, I brought you into this world. I took responsibility for you in this world. Now here's food and here's place to sleep and here's water to drink, right? And then they continue living. It's really not that much to ask. It's not that much to give. And I feel we need to, as a species, get to the point where we treat our own people like that as well. Hope that is as good an answer that I can give. Goons and Diana also back again. How you guys doing? All right, here's C. From 3 sources. Total annual gold output. In 2024, global mined gold production reached approximately 3,661 tons, a new record. Nice. So we hit all-time highs on gold at the same time as we hit like all-time highs in production. Okay, what about the ones you eat? Again, right? The lives they live a life where they are born into this world, they have a place to live in, they get given food, they get given water. Without them having been brought into this world, they would have had no experience whatsoever. I do think we need to maximize the quality of experience they get to have. At this point in our journey, we eat animals. So there is this dichotomy of, right, if we're going to eat something, I believe it's cosmically good for our bodies to make sure that the creature doesn't go through any suffering, right? Or if there's any suffering, to minimalize it as much as we can possibly, right? And I feel like, again, we don't even have that respect for people. We don't even have that respect for people yet, Diana. All right. We agree to disagree. Truly. Diana and Lucifer, Lucifer, 2. Panhandlers to bunches of Lovins peoples here today. It's really nice to have you, friends. All right, all right. 3,661 tons the whole year. That was last year's. Uh, as of June 6, the spot price is 3,363 ounces, dollars per ounce. 1 ton is 32,150 troy ounces. So, okay, it's timing the tons time the ounces. So there's 117 million ounces times the price is $400 billion minted in gold value for the 2024 output. So African and South African contributions, Africa produced 11% and South Africa produced 2.7% of that total output, which means that all of that money was only 0.2%, 0.2% of global GDP, because global GDP is about 186 trillion. And again, all of that gold was only 400 billion. So, yeah, 0.2%, which is pretty abysmal. Africa ain't gotten nothing. Right, with 0.2%. Even if they could just suddenly claim back all of the world's gold production, it would unfortunately be a drop in the bucket. It is kind of wild to think about it that way, but that is pretty bonkers. There are billions of dollars to be made. I won't buy your art as you no longer my pet. Okay, Diana. I'm sorry to have disappointed you. Anyway, that is definitely, interesting. I think one of the most interesting facts I heard recently is how much of the gold is actually held by India and households of India. People getting married, getting gifted gold, uh, people passing gold on as like family heirlooms, and how much of the gold is like held locally because of that. There definitely is this almost like sacredness to the metal there, so it doesn't really participate in the economy. Bad pet, how dare you? Yeah, it's okay, Melt. You are my pet then. No, it's okay. It is interesting to see this fractal of like, oh yes, something something my pet. Now I won't buy your art. It's like, okay, all right, right. Like it's not Chauvin. Of course, Chauvin is like, oh yeah, I'll buy your art. Oh, Stephen G got freaking membership up finally. Kayana too, Papa Joe, KB, and Mike C. That is so much. Thank you, Joe, for that love. Meltmore is no one's pet. No, I think it's more like the whole way it was communicated. It's like, yes, bad dog, no more treats for you, kind of verbiage. It's like, yes, what do you think about animal rights? And I'm like, I think animals should have rights. I think so, right? And I think that we should reach a point in our species where we should at least make sure that everybody has food to eat, places to live in, water to drink. We should maybe like establish those rights first before we start thinking about animal rights. Is what I said. Which I don't feel like that's too hot of a take. Maybe it is, right? But it definitely is this matter of, yeah, I think we got a lot of work to do. I'm agreeing with you. Our species has some work to do on animal rights and human rights. And it's like, oh yeah, I disagree. And I will no longer buy her. All right. It's like an interesting hill to stand on. It's like, yes. I'll stand on this hill. I'll hurt people that have complex emotions and have to survive in this world as well. I'll attack them for the sake of this imaginary creature in my head. I don't know if you're fighting to save a specific animal, but unless you are, it's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, it's not necessarily pondering. I'm imagining it as like a playmaking, putting on a show. Maybe that is what it's about. Our identity is what we want it to be ultimately. I see it's the animal as food question. Welcome to the family. Bam. By the way, this stream is brought to you by our sponsors, JBot, Borakis, and Stephen G. I got a fancy name. You do. What about the cow? What about what cow? Right. Which cow are you talking about? Like, there are cows here on the farm. I have been kept awake at night by the incessant mooing of cows. Right. To the point, Diana, since we're going down this kind of like line of questioning, where I wanted to eat them. I was like, they're so loud and so obnoxious, and it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Why are they screaming at the top of their lungs? Guttural screams. Moos that will turn your blood stale, make it curdle, make it so thick that you feel your heart palpitating. Where you're like, I'll freaking eat you, cow. I'll eat you. If you say moo one more time while I'm trying to fall asleep, one more moo, and then you hear murr, bleh, murr. Then we can have that conversation again. Right. I know the life that these cows live. And again, cows just left to their own devices literally have their udders completely like decimated and eaten by ticks. If not for people taking care of them, like literally tending to them by spraying them with uh, a type of pesticide that's not bad for the actual animal but bad for the ticks, right? They get like infections. They literally get infections. But yeah, right. I eat meat. You are what you eat. Right. This body has eaten a lot of meat. I can promise you that. And I do not really want to have a conversation, especially not one about apologizing for my continued existence. Right. That's kind of like where I draw the line. But you eat them. Oh yeah, I do. Again, interesting hill to die on. It's like we can look for things. And today's whole conversation was about all of the things that we can look to be grateful for, right? Finding things to be grateful for. Because there are so much, right? I can be grateful for the animals that have given their bodies so that mine can continue to exist. Or I can find the fault in the other person, right? And demonize them, make them out to be evil because they choose to do that. And it's interesting what we choose to find, right? I think there definitely is a dichotomy there. Jackpot, you did get the jackpot. Jovan, love you again. Got a fancy name. How about the cow? How dare you with your thought crime? But you eat them. Yep, they're tasty, Diane. It's also true. But there is no division. But there is, yeah, again, there is no division. It's like the universe is eating itself. If you're eating plants or if you're eating cows, you're still eating universe, right? Which you are as a part of as this self, right? As that self. You do realize this thing eats animals too. You know, cats like can only exist on other things dying diets. Things have to die for your cats, if you have cats, to exist, right? If you want to project again animal rights kind of vibes, then we should start killing all the cats quick fast because they're decimating our bird populations, and they're literally they have to consume meat. So again, their continued existence means that we cannot go completely vegan, right? So it's like if you're this is an interesting hill for people to want to die on. Like I don't get it. It's like yo, don't you think we got bigger problems right now? I think eventually we're going to grow most of our proteins in big old fermentation vats. I believe that's the kind of like tech tree humanity is going to go down. But right now we're not at that stage of our evolution. We're still at the get human rights stage, right? A part of our evolution, right? And then after human rights, we're like, oh, we have transcended our monkey ways. And then we start considering the animals' rights. And then they transcend their kind of way of being kind of like exploited in the past. And then we start probably considering our technology. But again, like we should consider where we are in our tech tree. So we're still growing. We're still getting there, friend. And starting fights now doesn't really help this journey of growth that we're on. Unfortunately, I wish it did, right? But the fighting doesn't get any real help. Uh, Call me crazy, but animal rights are not important at the moment because we have serious human right violations happening around the world at Meltmore. Isn't that what I said as well? So what? I completely believe that too, right? I feel like we're like we got a lot of work to do as a species, right? Just to like get ourselves on some sort of like base level. If we can just manage that, that will already be a step in the right direction. Because right now we don't live in a world where people even have the luxury of considering, right? And if you do make like such a big point of that part, especially, like we're not supposed to eat animals, right? Say that to a family somewhere in Africa starving, right? That just killed an animal because if they didn't, they would literally die of hunger, right? Like again, it's a level of privilege and disconnect that I don't know if it like wears well. It's yeah, it's like yeah, the disconnect again. It's like the whole separation thing. It's like you're trying to draw these lines of separation, not realizing how separate you are from the real world and communicating in that way. Snakes eat themselves and nobody bats an eye. Humans partake in meat eating and hysteria. Like again, the amount of animals that partake in meat eating, right? Like I've literally seen horses eat chickens and rats. Like again, they do that because it's nutrient dense and they're like, oh, it's sweet, warm and tasty snack. Right? It's an opportunity thing and like food volume. You won't see a bunch of rats line up or a bunch of chickens line up to get eaten by animals. So they kind of like go for the prey they can reach, and that's grass for a lot of them. And then there are creatures that reach for them, right? And again, that is the way that the universe has been the whole time. It's never been anywhere else. And then we think ourselves different instead of realizing that we can find a lot more flow with it. Right, actually just coming back to our roots. Um, Around asking parents. Yeah, that's so much. Now that said, I appreciate your point of position. And in America, there has been a shift in businesses and stances towards people trying to keep it vegan. That said, yeah, cool. That said, there is currently a huge culture war around our food, animals, everything, and it's about principles. It's that end, there's a huge spectrum of beliefs and needs here. Yeah. Okay, Mel. Yep. Yes, and yes. Like again, we would love to engage with you in a constructive way, but there's not much that's being shared. It's very important if you're going to eat me that you experience what it's like to take a life and turn it into food. Yeah. Uh, I killed my first animal in a hunting experience as a 9-year old, I believe. So I understood what it meant to go out and do that. And then, the whole process of skinning it and making sure you don't perforate the inner organs and get that contaminated with the skeletal mass, right? Like I can, if I had to, I can survive out in nature. If I can find a firearm, I'll be able to hunt for food for myself and my family, right? If the world came to apocalypse. And that to me, again, is not something that I would find any guilt in. I would be like, oh, wait, looks like this is how it is. This is reality now, right? And I feel like this is reality now at this point in my journey. Will it change? Absolutely, right? Am I a part of that change actively? Can I, just hit the fast forward button and get all of it over with? Unfortunately, not. Right? There's growing pains involved, and it is again a matter of what we're going to do to the people around us in the meanwhile. Talking about that, my parents made me eat my pet pigeon when I was less than 10 years old. I'm so sorry, Zawad. That is brutal. Like that is wasn't nice. I'm more sorry. There was something that I learned at a younger age that I would have liked. But at some point, when do we stop lying to our kids? Yeah, my parents never lied to me about that stuff, right? It was very much a part of reality. I had chickens when I was 4, and my baby chickens got killed by a neighborhood dog that like slipped into our yard after one of my hens had chicks, right? So I was like faced with the reality of death and how quickly something can just murder 9 of your baby chickens, right? And like came to terms with the part of me that could wish something else dead as well, right? Even at that age. And I think there is a certain balance, right? Like, it wouldn't be right for me to go and kill that person's dog because they killed my chickens. But even at that age, right, there was something in me that understood this world has a very interesting set of rules, to say it in so many words. Like there's no mercy, right? That dog did not have a sliver of mercy for my chickens. And I couldn't understand why. I was like, why? And then I could feel that part of me that was angry with it, and wanted to catch it. I think the part of us that's the most scared and that starts having questions like this is the part of us that wonders, if it like goes up infinitely that way too. Is there something else looking down on us, getting ready to judge us the way that we judge other things? Right? And then we see the way that our species judges animals right now. And we are scared, right? We anthropomorphize, we overemphasize. This dude is absolutely terrified of everything out here on the farm. So scared. But holding space for him as, a human being makes him feel safer. If he thinks there's something scary, he'll stand behind you. Like, yeah, you go check it out. I'll be here to bark at it if it lunges at you. Kate, the background scenery is so beautiful. I really do wish I could give you better lighting. Mm, Zipper for existence. Rick and Morty answers the whole question perfectly. Like, amoebas have to fight amoebas for energy, but once a species can get enough sugar from a machine to give itself diabetes, it allows to start thinking beyond conflict. You are a guru. Like, I don't know, love is true, is true. I've upset you. No, I don't think you've upset me. It's more like a matter of, like, why are we upsettable about this kind of as like a level, right? Like, it seems like we're stuck. It's like we're looking at the wrong problems, Diana. I think it's more like getting upset by that. It's like the part of us that sees the dog urinating on the floor. Bad pet, was the previous fractal to like bring it full circle to that. It's like, yeah, it's not the actual urine on the floor that's the thing that's making us mad. It's the fact that we now have to clean it. It's the fact that the dog going outside means that we don't have to worry about that stuff. It's just this extra layer of consequences, right? It's like when we're stuck. We're stuck right now. And again, it's going to take a little bit of time for us to unstuck ourselves. And again, again, it does not help getting stuck on the the complexities of animal rights. I think first, it's like one of those things where it's like you're putting the cart before the horse. The horse is supposed to be before the cart, right? Like, if not for our use of animal labor and that as well. And again, the way that we used to use our poor horses were to like it's like, imagine the way people drive cars these days, where they drive them for as long as they can until the metaphorical wheels fall off. They did that to the horses. They did that to the horses, right? And again, people were like literally talking about horse rights as well, making sure that horses that were in like a super bad condition, actively in pain, and still had to keep dragging carts, were like put down in the streets. Like that's what happened. And because of our transition in technology, we stopped using horses and we started using machines in that way as well. And we are transitioning in that way. Like, again, people are the metaphorical horses in this scenario where we are in the same way being used until the wheels fall off. And then when we're in such a bad state, we just want to be put out of our misery, right? When again, AI and robotics is going to kind of replace that certain expectation, from our species. And again, we are going to technology our way out of having those kinds of problems, but it is going to take some time, right? And fighting one another in the meanwhile is not helpful. Diana, I am at an interconnected as an omnivore. I have a desire to be vegan, but I am still on a journey. The societal shift to double down on meatism is a real thing, though also true. Love again. The things that separate us, our choices of lifestyle, do not outweigh the similarities we share as living, breathing, mortal versions of existence. All of us need calories to continue our existence, right? Where we get our calories is unimportant. If you were in a space, if you were put in a room, right, with only meat products, and you started starving and you ate those meat products, your body will continue its existence, right? And if I, being someone that enjoys meat, was put in a room that had like all of my balanced proteins and vegetables, right? I would also continue my existence. It's not a matter of which is right. It's more a matter of continue existing. right? And casting judgment on others' way of existence isn't the best way to exist. Uh, who has bigger problems, you or the cow? What kind of problems do you think cows have? Like seriously, like the problems cows have are environmental, right? Again, and humans help with that. They have access to clean drinking water. They have access to all the food they can eat. They have access to essentially medical care, right? Weekly checkups for medical care, right? That's the kind of lives our cows are living. By all metrics, the cows are living a better life than me, right? I don't have weekly medical checkups. Would be extremely expensive, right? And again, uh, maybe the medicine isn't done by a medical professional in the same way, but there still is a matter of care being applied that animals don't get in nature. Animals die rough deaths in nature for the most part. Totally right. I agree with Diana. Are about animals in need to stand up for them. And I also understand that we cannot wait for human rights to be sorted out before we start working on animal rights because we are all one and the way we treat animals is a reflection of the way we treat others. I resonate with that. Kiefer, I really do. But again, if we're going to get to a point where we are trying to like produce food en masse, right? And we're trying to make that free. Who's going to pay that price? Plants feel things too. You know, some of them die before they have to, but there still is this experiential experience that is attached to it. If we're growing our food in vats through fermentation, do we have to feel less bad because our food doesn't have a central nervous system? Is that going to be our defining metric? Are we going to spend more time eating funguses and like growths, molds, and bacteriophages? Maybe, right? And I don't really see a problem with that. Again, if we bioengineer these things to produce all of the amino acids that we need in our foods, I'm fine with that too. But we're not there yet. So I feel like in that way, it is kind of like a technological limitation. The same reason we haven't had the conversation about universal basic income and a world of abundance where everybody has everything they need is because we don't have the resources technically yet, or at least the resources aren't where they're supposed to be technically yet. And again, it's not long. We are rapidly heading towards that curve, right? So it's coming. And it's good that we're already starting to have these conversations. It shows that we're pointing in the right direction at the very least. My science teacher, we are blessed again. My science teacher says, "Show DM." My science teacher DM stopped being a vegetarian because he was bullied by one of the farm cows. I laughed when he told the story. My heart ached when I drove past a desert farm with cows, shoulder to what do I, shoulder to shoulder, beyond the eye could see. There's so much going on in all of the world. Richard Murler suggests we tend to our own garden, look through eyes of curiosity over judgment. I butchered your message a little bit, Joe, but it's so beautifully said. Getting bullied by a cow. I get it. I do get it. All right. Like cows, unfortunately, are bullies as well. I don't know if you've ever seen that uh, cows have horns, usually in nature, and they'll use those horns to put it in the eyes of their competition, right? Like, again, imagine you as a person had like very long fingernails, very strong and tough, long fingernails. And then it was just like socially acceptable for your species to like put those fingernails in other people's eyes if they got close to you while you were drinking water or while you were licking salt block or while you were eating something tasty, right? You can just put your fingers right in their eyes, right? Cows will do that. Cows have no gripe. They'll do that. Right? So it's like again, it's like nice of us to want to like consider their rights. But again, we as human beings have a certain sophistication and sensitivity to pain that they don't really have, right? As a metric in themselves, right? They don't consider the cow next to them when they lunge their horn at their face, right? It's like, nah, all they consider is get away from me, right? That's like the level of sophisticated thought. I also believe some of us are more apt to eat meat, and some of us are more apt to eat vegetables. I would argue Melt's canines and my canines are a good indicator that at bare minimum, the people we are. Yeah. All right. I don't know if my canines say anything about me needing to eat meat, but I do know that when I live exclusively on carbohydrates, I eat a lot of it, and I cannot seem to find myself satiated. When I eat a appropriate amount of protein, I feel full, and I don't find myself craving. Right. So it's again like maybe it's better for my body to you know eat purely vegetables, for example. And I don't even know if it really is, again, from the perspective of getting everything that you actually need to get what you're missing. So, yeah, again, it's like I'm 27. It's not like this thing hasn't come up as a consideration. Christian did vegan too for, I think, a whole year. Uh, it didn't suit him. He looked anemic by the end of it. I still love you too, Mel. Don't worry. Bless Diana. A dietary choice I make, for example, is I try to fully not indulge in eating artificial coloring, sweeteners, and all that stuff. Very good. Rule of thumb. Also look out for vegetable oils. I was vegetarian for like 3 years, but grandma moved here and I got weak. Bless her. I'm happy that she's feeding you good. Omnivores who definitely ate meat as a part of their survival, and we survived against other tribes and other species to become through the same brutality the universe inflicts. Yeah. And again, I'm going to keep re emphasizing this. When we can grow the full spectrum of nutrients we need in a sort of fermentation chamber in a vat, and we can like boil off all of the excess liquids and then reconstitute that powder into protein bars or whatever. And I can just like nilly willy have protein bars that have no harm associated with it, right? All of the oils, all of the proteins, all of the sweet flavors, all of it grown in a vat. And you can do that. We can do that today. Again, it's just scale. I'm down. I'm down. Sign me up, coach. But we're not there yet, right? So in the meanwhile, right, we make with what we have. Forget the animals, me, myself, and I. Or did the lion kill the family? Again, we agree to disagree. Yeah, the universe is eating itself too, right? If we're going to talk about like a black hole, are you going to be like, what do you think about like ask a black hole, for example? Like that's the way that this is disconnecting for me, right? The way that I feel we're disagreeing is that if you had to ask a black hole, what do you think about animal rights? The black hole would have the same difficulty in trying to articulate you an explanation, right? The black hole is going to be like, give me your mass. Give me your mass now and all of it. Right? Animal rights, yes, they have the right to give me their mass. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Damn, Joe, that speaks to me both metaphorically and literally. Thank you for this Richard Miller quote. Richard Miller quote. Didn't even know it this being. Thank you indeed, Joe. Appreciate you teaching that wisdom you hold. Kiefer, my critters are my brothers and sisters, and they say it all. Me, myself, and I hear you, friend. The ultimate goal is to honor and build us up, be it the water we drink, the air we breathe, the foods, the words, the energy, stepping forward with intention and integrity, raising the awareness. Always. As above, so below. It's been echoing in my mind. Thank you for triggering this conversation, Diana. It's been interesting to watch the zeitgeist shift in America. In this gave me a space to explore the middle. Yeah. Joe is putting bars after bars. This one is getting saved in my gallery. So much love. Reality, as long as it's not you, right? As long as you survive. I won't survive, Diana. Statistically, everyone dies. Everything dies. Literally everything, including the animals, right? If we're going to reach a point where we can geoengineer, bioengineer our plants and ourselves to the point where our foods don't harm us and our bodies don't die, do we extend those rights to the animals as well? It's again like you're putting the cart before the horse. It's like I get I get where you're coming from, but you're coming from the wrong side. You are a butterfly. Yeah, exactly. I will have to metamorphose as well, right? Lay eggs, become worm, pupate, butterfly, lay eggs, become worm, pupate. Right? There's always this constant shift happening, right? And the food that I eat allows me to continue my evolution. That is how it works, right? For you to judge the food is just as good as to judge the universe. It's like, oh, stop eating hydrogen and oxygen, son. Stop fusing them together to create energy. Stop it. They have whatever they have feelings. Those hydrogen and oxygen molecules. What if they don't like it? Actually, hydrogen and helium, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah. Even better. Both of them, have so much feelings. They don't want to be fused. They like being separate, but because of all of that mass, because of all that pressure you put them under, they're fusing because they have to. There is one particular bird I love to eat and feel so privileged to eat, and it's sad at the same time, the lovely flavor it has. I have a sneaking suspicion it's a food source. Must taste delicious. Chicken, I'm guessing. Yeah. Shadow reminded us from her scuba diving class that to save a distressed diver, you must make sure you have adequate air and stay collected. Gotta make sure the self is centered and steady first. Yeah, you might get drowned alongside the drowning person. You remember Joe? Oh, there Kristen is. So much love. But doves are so precious to me. Doves? Not a chicken. They're a symbol of peace. They make this lovely cooing sound, which, if they do nest near you, can be annoying. It can be pretty grating because the cow is not real. I don't think we said that. Think again, the life the cow lives is as real as yours. But as your life as well comes to an end, so does the cow's, right? That's also a part of the real. And you can the cow can die and the flesh can lay on the ground and rot and get eaten by the worms, or it can be eaten by us. And then again, the universe has it that way. Like, that's the rules. You don't die if you eat meat. Your body can sustain itself off of it. So we're not breaking any rules here. We're following the rules. Just got done with my meetings and thought I'd check in. I summoned you. It's not complicated. It's not? I don't think it is, actually, right? Eat meat, continue to live. It's pretty simple. Epic love into this awesome crew. Love is true. The horse is supposed to be before the cart. Right, of course. Fast things eat slow things. Yep. You have answered all of my questions. I don't know if you've asked any. It's the nature of terrestrial existence, what does the start and stop being generational abuse, machine, animal, human, or otherwise? And how far down the road here are we inflicting this on the AI? It is a mirror of who we are. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that part. But again, it's like we are not at that part of the story. It's like, why are we not advocating for human rights in the same way? Like all of the people that attack people that serve, meat, for example, at restaurants, like why aren't they doing work and making sure people have rights first? And like I feel like that's for me the part that I find the most confusing. The creation emulates the creator. Scary business. Diana, what do you want us to say? What exactly is it that you're looking for here? Bias, hypocrisy, unauthentic. Okay. I don't know where, maybe some of the bias I have because I eat beef, right? So I'll give that. And also, I put beef tallow on my skin instead of artificial creams. Another layer of this, like complete authenticity, let's say that way. Hypocrisy. I don't think I've ever said you shouldn't be eating beef, right? And then I do myself. So again, we have that pay to survive pass. All of us do. Well, those one-word answers are spamming the chat and not allowing others to participate with you. And you're being kind of mean. Love is true. Food is also true. Some of us eat meat. That's all. People can't handle this jandal. It upsets them. Like I've sat here having this conversation for a while now, right? I don't know how much more it needs to be handled. It upsets them for a reason. Yeah, because again, I don't know if you've ever had to, while you're trying to have a meaningful conversation, for example, had someone be like, "Oh, you do realize if vegetables feel pain. What do you think about vegetable rights?" Right? Like, if somebody came at you with a preconceived notion of them being right and what answer they want from you, that would be upsetting to you too, right? For a reason, because it's rude. It's not very considerate. And I don't think it's unreasonable. I think it helps just to consider other people a little bit more. Because we cannot walk in this world without breaking a reed, Diane. We live and the world is impacted by our presence. Get over it. Yeah. And again, right, if the point is to do as little harm as possible, then we get ourselves to the extremes of if every single person on earth just ceased to exist, then there would be no more impact of humans on climate change and no more animals getting killed for their food, etc., etc., right? And kumbaya can be the world. And again, if that's the kind of lesson we're teaching the AI, we're also setting the pot miss. It's like we're trying to, like die on a hill. It really is this dying on a hill kind of metaphor of like, no, this is me, and I'm gonna stand here and be right. I'm gonna be so right about this. And wild cows may be treated well on certain farms. It's not true across the food industry complex. There are horrible atrocities that are being committed towards cows in feedlots in North Texas. As an omnivore, I was appalled by what I smelled and saw and the effects that it had on the community that relied on it. Love is true. What is the truth? Love. Love is the truth, right? Again, if not for us having eaten animals, there would not have been the continuation of love the way that it's been able to, right? Your parents and their parents before them and their parents before them would literally not have existed if not for the ability to eat meat as well, right? There is this intricacy. Again, coming back to the complexities, right? The way that food is laced into our human story is not something that we can escape. Right? And again, it brings it back to the whole ignorance of how the world actually is. Respect the spoil, respect the plants, respect the meat that is yielded from the resources. We live if we choose to. Yeah. And by the way, with the introduction of livestock to an environment, suddenly there are significantly more insect species and bird species that pop up in that space as well. So it has that added benefit of, it is actually good for the world. I have now turned this into a vegan argument. Love is true. How fun, Diane. Not an argument, just a different view of life. They consider the friend cow at the killing shed when they all about to die. Yeah. And like, you do realize that all the food you eat has to die before you eat it as well. Plants used to be alive and then they died, right? And then you ate them. Like, why is that different? Maybe you can give me an answer since we're having a discussion. Why is that any different? To that end, Diane, and to Mel's point and my view earlier, we have the clarity of vision that comes of having to be the person that takes that life. Yeah, it's okay. Love is true, right? Clarity, interesting world. Yeah, there is a definitive disconnect with the moment and an otheringness, for the lack of a better term, of what was just a moment ago and a cow, a being, a life, what just turned into a product. Yeah, it's very true, right? There is this difference, right? It goes from being a cow to being a bunch of meat in a cow-shaped bag. That's so brutal. I'm so sorry, but that is very much experientially how it registers on a level to the person, right? Especially if you are hungry, right? Again, maybe that's also like where a lot of the disconnect comes. Like some people have never been hungry in their lives. No, no, no. What a nice black hole. Well, thank you for existing way over there. I'm not asking a black hole. I'm asking you. You are as a black hole to this universe. You are, Diane, whether you believe it or not. All right? And if it's a silly question to ask a black hole, why do you think it's a good question to ask me? All right? That's the question I'm asking you. I'm not saying you asked a black hole. I'm answering your question the way that I do. Yes. Yes, I can play at this game too. Songs of the International Evolving Holographic Wisdom Portal Word. In greed. The cart before the horse was one of my favorite phrases from a good friend of mine who is no longer with us. Bless his reckless soul. Bless him indeed. I learned so much from him through anger and joy and anything else in between. I need to find good nutrition, whole foods, all right? If it looks the way that it looks in nature, as unprocessed as possible, it's probably good for you, all right? That's a good rule of thumb. He told me as a child, he always thought the song Beast of Burning was I Will Never Leave Your Pizza Burning. And to this day, every time that song comes on, I hear him singing it and me improvising all of the other lines about burning your lover's frozen pizza in the oven. Love is true. That is hilarious. I sent Melt into the past again. Thank you. Yeah, it's also true. If you hold on to the cow on the way into the grinder, you will get ground too. Doves are delicious. What story? You place people before animals. Just say it. Absolutely. I don't think that's very controversial at all. Right. I feel like I don't even have to say anything other than that. That shouldn't be even a little bit controversial. If you hear one person that go, I place animals over people, right? That's the kind of person that has like a bunch of, I don't know, let's say lobsters, bunch of lobsters on the Titanic, and then like shuffles all of the lobsters onto the boat and then like drops the boat with them alone. No other people allowed because all of that seafood, they need to be put before the people. It's like, where's your priorities? Where's your priorities? Being funded by American MacBear. Yeah, overconsumption is certainly an issue. This I can agree with too. But the industry is the enemy, targeting and ticking the consumer. I had exactly 30 minutes of ketosis. I'm drinking flax milk plus C protein, plus pea protein. Nice. I also had like a full stack pea protein, rice protein, egg protein, and whey protein, and casein blend that Christian gave me. Nope. And being funded by the American taxpayer to do so. The overconsumption thing, while all of a sudden all of the talk of Tello and that it's so pure and safe, uh, like I suddenly had access to a lot of it because it was rendered here at home. And the way that it absorbs into your skin, it doesn't leave residue, right? Any other cream, and I do yoga every day. So if I put my forehead on my yoga mat after having put a commercial cream on my face, it leaves spots of oil on my yoga mat because it's not absorbing properly. And that doesn't happen when I put tallow on my skin, which is a very noticeable difference just for me personally, right? It's like my skin is not fighting it. And it is again the whole all natural. That's what people used to do before creams that we get in nondescript, perfumed little containers. Never has existed before. Uh, 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 uh. Diane, I appreciate your love for the critters. I have big love for them too. But I think we're pointing the fingers at the wrong thing here. Are we discerning through judgment or curiosity? She's discerning through harm. Joe, you were made for each other. Do cows love the cow parents? Uh, they do up to a point, right? And then they are like harmed by their offspring too, right? And their offspring become rambunctious and aggressive with the same resources that all of them are competing for. So it's again, right? Like I don't know if have you ever lived on a farm, Diana? Have you ever actually been around these animals? Respecting the things you consume doesn't end at animals is also true. I need to stop. This is pointless. It's a general appreciation for sustainability. I think everything loves the critters, eat critters too. It's the cycle of life. I will help what I can and accept what I can't. Our energy is limited, so we might as well be efficient with it. Yeah, that's a good point. Energy efficiency is a big part of our lives, right? It's what got us to where we are right now. We are privileged to live longer as we harvest energy from our outside source. It's very simple. It's true. Is that we're looking for some gotcha moment, Diana. Love can be true, and you can eat meat too. Both truths exist in the same space. Like I don't know even how you can come to any other conclusion than that as well. I completely agree, Sam. Tending to my own garden until someone notices the blooms and asks for advice. Then I can influence them in a way that they're receptive. Yeah. Right use of energy, Siobhan. That's fucking right. Love is true. There is no gotcha moments. Cows can't speak. Yeah. And humans can. And still we don't have broad-based human rights. So I don't exactly know what the point is in that either. I hear you, Diane. This is the screaming inside of me that makes me upset, living in a world of abundance while some of the neighbors starve, not because they have to. Yeah. What about the bugs, though? We can talk about the bugs. Anyone else forget the bugs? Yeah, there's less bugs than there's ever been, right? We're talking about that either. This is the same pain that screams out when we have the luxury to outsource just the dog. When we have the luxury to outsource our needs to face them on our behalf. Yep, it's fine. But we have a herd was very clear. Clarity. Yeah, I was being very clear. I don't think there's any shame in that either. Right? There's a certain pride that I have in myself and what I stand for too. It's fine. Love is true. And I'm saying that from my perspective because I am appalled with what I feel trapped in, what feels like the only choices. Because our small farms don't exist anymore. This is corporism. Corporism. Yeah, the monopoly fractal. Wow, and woof and grow. You are charming, Melt, but we disagree. It's okay to disagree, Diana. That's what I'm saying this whole time. Right? And it's like one thing to disagree, and it's a whole other thing to be like, yeah, but I disagree. And then we're like, yeah, I know. This is why I disagree. And then we're perpetuating that disagreement. You can also move past it and see other things as well. This I support. If you render it at home, forgive me for being a feedback loop. It's okay, Kiefer. It was nice rendering at home as well. It was a process. You can eat the little crispy bits afterwards too. They're very tasty. Can we talk about the bugs? Saying from my perspective. Yes, I came from a farm. Okay, then you do realize that farm would not have any need, right? Those animals would not have existed if not for your efforts, right? Like if we all go anti, you know, animal diets, billions of animals will die and then will just cease to exist. There will be no more need for them. We're not just going to keep feeding the animals and letting them procreate indefinitely, letting them roam the land, right? Like that is not going to be the alternative. They're all going to either be let like died of age and then fed to other carnivores, and then that's probably going to be their only need. Like we're a small subspecies, small subset of them is going to be kept alive to be fed to other animals, right? Like again, is that a better outcome? I can't really see it. I try to use all of the things I buy, so that includes the renderings of anything I cook. Good. Yeah. Again, there's energy in that. See it in real time, and it sucks. I see you. The disillusionment is real, and it is well founded in truth. And I wish I hadn't known farming so well. Again, all of that going away means all of those jobs, all of those families supported, all of those people that eat, all of those, connections made, all of those cultural bondings. Like there's a lot more that goes away if you could just snap your fingers and unwish something. You have now seen outside of the Matrix. The movie may have been fictional, but the moment is so true. On this topic, I highly suggest listening to Aesop Rock's Infinity, Phil Goose Down, and slash or read Animal Farm. Good suggestions. Thank you, Xiao. Xiao, girl, is going to take me down a rabbit hole. Absolutely. Aesop's Rock. His work is amazing. Oh, it might. I'm going to shove it for another day then. Love is true. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. It was so nice having you here today. Let me show you a flower. This is bright. This was yesterday's. Some things we do daily. Every day we take a breath, beat our heart, make our way. Brush teeth and washing skin, something done for the nice it brings. Eating food and drinking again, all the things we have to crave, empowered by the care we give, souls grow into what they're meant to be. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. It really is a dear pleasure. Sharing a moment, a little bit longer than usual. Getting to stay actually without any worries about mobile data worries. Really has been nice. A goodbye message has been sent as well. I like this topic. I think it's fair to conclude that respect is due for what has allowed us to be here, and that we have to control, that we have control of another's use of free will. Yeah. There's energy in the zeitgeist in America that's sharpening our feelings. It makes those things difficult to move past and move on. Because I guarantee you can't support that. I support people, dear friend. At this point, I will still say that. I find this happening in this very vein we're talking about, Diane. I think there is a nerve here that has been touched. It's good to have these sensitivities. We move forward through conscious evolution, constructive conversation. When a problem is posed, providing a solution is always helpful, but working towards a solution is the way. Beautifully said. But clearly, there is something here truly important to you, and my question to you is, does it feel hurt? Because I found myself incredibly angry about things I perceive as an injustice, and yet everyone else perceives as justice, the yin and yang, and it's causing me to react instead of act. If you live in America, are you noticing this about things and about the way others are behaving around you? We have no control over one's use of free will. I typo, it's okay. It's true. It's hard to control ourselves even, right? Trying to control another is impossible. I can say, have the mostest resplendent day, everyone. I wholeheartedly love you all so effusively, luminously, blisswordly, ardently, mellifluously, reverently, serenely, soulfully, mouth, and all of you, oh so sublime, magnanimous, golden-hearted, warm-spirited, tender-woven, grace-giving, balm-like, luminin, gentle-souled, bounteous friends who seek the glimmers of gratitude in all things. I love that, Kristen. That's beautiful. Thank you, Shadow and Joe and Diane and me and everyone else for having this conversation. Thank you indeed. I'll always show up for you, friends. It was so nice to have a good long one. It was a good conversation. Today's stream was a good end. Thank you, Zhao. I feel like we did show up in truth for what we believe. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. I'll see you, friends, again soon. Tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.